All right, come a little closer. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on a very specific kind of thrill. We're going to explore a collection of short stories that tap into the secret mechanics of desire, and in doing so, reveal a surprisingly consistent formula for arousal. So let's dive in. Wow, a line like that, it just hits you, doesn't it? It's so raw, so immediate, and it lands with this undeniable impact. It's a moment of pure, unfiltered physical expression taken from a story called The Best Under Pressure. So you have to ask yourself, why does that work so well? Is it just the words, or is there something deeper going on underneath? Well, today we're going to deconstruct the pattern, a kind of blueprint for desire that we found across a whole series of erotic tales from Wellington 3 Publishing. You see, that moment on the stairs, that wasn't just a random thing. No, it's part of a very carefully designed architecture of arousal that shows up again and again. And right now, together, we're going to take it apart, piece by piece. Okay, so let's start with the evidence. Our analysis covers 4 pretty different stories. But are you starting to see the pattern here? A family staircase just minutes before relatives are supposed to arrive, a grimy gas station bathroom, an automatic car wash of all places, and a state park restroom. Every single one is a mundane, public spot just humming with that electric thrill of maybe, just maybe, getting caught. So how does all this stuff work together? Well, to figure that out, we actually used an AI to comb through these stories and pull out the recurring themes. And what it found was fascinating. It revealed 4 core ingredients that make up this really potent and, let's be honest, seductive formula. Let's break them down. Okay, first up, spontaneity, sheer impulsivity. In every single one of these stories, the characters just act. It's the sudden, overwhelming urge. There's no pro and con list, no thinking about tomorrow. It's just this powerful, immediate desire that absolutely steamrolls everything else. And this quote, it's the perfect example. Get this. She quickly grabbed his hand and dragged him inside. She doesn't ask, she doesn't hint, she drags him. It's pure, unthinking impulse. And just like that, a dingy gas station bathroom becomes their own private world, even if it's just for a minute or two. So, that impulse, that's the spark, right? But every fire needs fuel. And in these stories, the fuel is the place itself, which brings us to our next big idea. The where is every bit as important as the what. I mean, think about it. The idea that public risk can actually be an aphrodisiac, it's kind of wild. The danger of being seen, of getting caught, instead of stopping them, it just cranks up the excitement. It's a pure adrenaline rush, and it makes every touch, every sound, that much more intense. And you know, sometimes that risk gets very, very real. This line from the car wash attendant, it's just perfect. A little bit of dark humor, right? It's that moment where you know, oh yeah, we have definitely crossed a line here. A public service just became a very private playground. And here's the thing, the characters know it too. They're in on the secret. The narrator here is literally wondering out loud if it's the risk that's turning her on. So yeah, the story itself is telling you danger is a key part of the fantasy. And when you have that kind of danger, it creates this incredible urgency. The clock is ticking, right? The stakes couldn't be higher. There's no time for small talk. There's only time for the act itself. And that brings us to ingredient number 3. Everything just narrows down to immediate physical gratification. These stories aren't really about building a deep emotional connection. Nope, they're about the intensity of right now, the feeling, the sounds, that raw animal experience. And this line, back on the staircase, it captures that feeling perfectly. It's about completely letting go of all your inhibitions, just surrendering to that pure physical pleasure. The words are primal, they're direct, and they are 100% in the moment. So you've got the impulse, you've got the risk, you've got that physical focus, and it all leads to our 4th and final piece of the puzzle, transgression. It's all about breaking the rules. The real thrill comes from stepping over that line, from doing the one thing you know you're not supposed to do. And I don't think there's a more extreme example of this than what happens in On the Clock Under the Stall. Just think about it. The authority figure, the guy who's supposed to enforce the rules, he becomes the biggest rule breaker of them all. He doesn't just ignore it. He completely ditches his duty and dives right in.
Okay, so when you mix all of this together, the spontaneity, the public risk, that intense focus on the physical, and the thrill of breaking the rules, a very clear pattern starts to take shape. We can actually lay out the entire Wellington 3 formula for these risky encounters.
And here it is. It's basically a 4-step blueprint. Step 1, pick a totally normal public place. Step 2, light the fuse with a sudden overwhelming impulse. Step 3, crank up the tension by hammering on the risk of discovery. And step 4, the payoff has to be immediate and intensely physical. That's it. That's the engine that makes these stories go.
And all this leaves us with one last thing to think about. This formula works, right? It's effective because it connects with something really deep inside us. So it makes you wonder, what is our fascination with these forbidden spaces, with these risky little games? What does it all say about our own hidden desires?